All right, everybody. Just to intro really quick. Quite a week for this one. Mike Green, after having 9 tackles, 3.5 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks and a forced fumble in last week's win over Louisiana Monroe, he was named the SBC Defensive Player of the Week, the Reese's Senior Bowl Defensive Player of the Week, and he was also named the PFF's Group of 5 Team of the Week. Questions for Mike G?
Another week, some more awards coming in, or recognitions. Just from a mental perspective, what's your approach every single week? Because obviously, when you perform, those recognitions are going to come. Just where are you at mentally, and just how fun is it to be out there flying around and making some of these plays?
Yeah, I think sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming for all the attention and things like that. So I try to keep as much time off my phone as possible, but also have time to recognize where I'm at and where I need to build off of and what I'm doing good at. So I think that's been helping me. I got the same regimen throughout the week. Basically, it's like I'll get up at 8, and then I'm doing things throughout the whole day. I get back home at 9, so I try to keep that the same each week. So I think my approach every week is kind of the same, regardless of I could be the defensive player of the year. I'm still going to be able to do the same regimen as I do every day. So I think that kind of helps me out a lot when it comes down to getting all this recognition, and I'm extremely thankful for it also. I'm just striving for more.
Mike, I know every play matters, but it seems like last week, especially when you guys had to get a play made, you were there. Does your intensity kind of ratchet up just automatically in situations like that where you're thinking to yourself, I got to go make a play?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of funny because it's pretty much like that every play. Every play I'm putting pressure on myself to make a play. So when times like that come, it's kind of like the natural ability of trying to make a play. So I don't necessarily go in and feel like this play is a little bit more important than the last play, because I of course think just every play is just important. But when it comes down to somebody needing to make a play and not make a play, it's relieving for sure.
What can you tell me about Southern Miss? What do you see from them? Anybody stand out to you?
I think their quarterback, number 3, stands out. I believe he might be a younger guy or a midway kind of guy. He's very mobile. He might be as mobile as Braylon. So we got to do a good job keeping him in the pocket, containing him, make sure that we don't let him get out the pocket as much. And they kind of use him as like a running quarterback / running back type of guy. So he probably has like running back numbers. So we just got to do a good job containing him. They got some good running backs. I know that they got a good defensive line also. Coach Huff touched points on that yesterday. So I think our offensive line been doing a good job, and they just continue to do what they've been doing. And I think that they're going to finish this season doing pretty well.
This defense has been kind of bend don't break at times. Someone may spring off a big run, but you make a stop in the red zone, or make stops in big moments. Where does that mentality come from? And it seems like in the biggest moments, I think of Jacoby's tackle on 3rd and goal. People are stepping up, whether it's you or somebody else.
Yeah, and we just got those guys that have those playmaking abilities. We got guys that can fly around and just tackle and make some plays. So I think when it comes down to times where we need somebody to step up and make a play, there's 11 guys that can do that. And I feel like that just has our defense at an advantage at times, because we just, like, anybody can just make a play at any given point. And if we just continue to do what we've been doing, that regardless what the situation is, that we'll just be able to make a play.
Mike, what is it about playing on the road? I know you guys are in a little bit of a streak of losing on the road. Does it take an extra bit of focus whenever you go on the road, especially in conference?
I feel like when we go on the road during conference, some may say that you kind of get at a disadvantage simply because of traveling, and your fans and your family might not all be there and things like that. I think we got the type of team that we are all striving for the same thing, and all of our heads are on the same point. So I feel like it may have a disadvantage for some players, but for the most part, I think that we are at a good point, and regardless of it being on the road or home or anything like that, I think if we do what we're supposed to be doing, that we'll win the game. So if we just continue to do what we've been doing, and I feel like we're on a good path. So with that being said, I don't really think that kind of has too much of an effect on us.
Yeah, sometimes these cross divisional games can feel a little bit like non-conference games because it's a team you don't see very often. How fun is that to prepare for, a team that's given different looks, and now this is the second week in a row, an opponent out of the West Division?
Yeah, it's challenging simply because sometimes these other teams do different things, and I know last week we played a team that do more horizontal movement, where it's like stretch, inside zone, outside zone. This team is a little bit more gap scheme. They like to pull the tackle, they like to pull the guard. Sometimes the receivers go in jet motion to catch the ball. So I feel like it brings a little bit more challenges to each side of the ball, and with that just being said, if you got the guys that are just versatile and guys that can fly around and play in different situations, that if you do what you're supposed to be doing, then you should be fine. Yeah.
Any further questions for Mike?
All right. Thank
Thanks,
you. God
Mike.
bless.
All right, next up, we're going to have Logan Osbor. Obviously, you all know him pretty well as well. Leads Marshall's offensive line, which is ranked number 15 in rushing offense in FBS. Questions for Logan?
Another opportunity to kind of play for what you guys have ahead. Coach talked about it's not about any other team right now. It's about what you guys can do. Just talk me through how you guys are keeping that focus, week in and week out here down the stretch.
Yeah, we're just keeping it one game at a time, 1 week at a time. You can't get focused on the uncontrollables, and we're certainly just going to handle what we can control and just take it week by week.
Luke mentioned a little bit different for you guys because you haven't been to Hattiesburg or Southern Miss, even though they're in the conference. Is that kind of pique your interest a little bit because you're not real familiar with them at this point?
Yeah, it's exciting. Anytime you get to go to a place you haven't been before or not familiar with their personnel or team, it's a kind of a challenge, but you kind of welcome it because it's a new looks, new players. So you kind of have more excitement into like film study, more excitement into prepping. And, it's not like the same teams we see on the East every year where you can, this is the same looks we're going to get. So they're different looks with different players, so it makes it definitely more exciting to prepare for.
How about the job that Ethan and Jordan did on Saturday to kind of close that one out on the ground without AJ?
I mean, they did a heck of a job. I thought Jordan and Payne stepped up whenever they needed to. We called on them, and they did their job. And, hats off to those guys. They worked their tails off, and they're reaping their rewards.
Just going back just a moment, what can you tell us about Southern Miss? What do you see from them? Anything stand out to you? Maybe pique your interest?
Yeah, I think their personnel and how they play is not a reflection of their record. I think they play extremely hard. I think they're really talented, really physical. They got great speed on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive coaches kind of told us like this is going to be one of the tougher defenses we're going to see in this league, just because they got so much talent and ability. So it's definitely going to be a challenge just from a physical perspective, and obviously we got to get the right hats on their hats. So.
A little bit more of a road focus this week, Logan. It's been a while since you guys have won a road game, and you've been close in a bunch of them. But there's a lot on the line this week for the rest of the year for you guys. So is it even more attention to detail?
For sure. And all that is just the little things, the little details, our fundamentals and focus. We got to be really on point with that because that's what wins these games on the road, especially in the Sun Belt. If you have lack of fundamentals and focus, you're not going to win those games. I think we kind of struggled with that, with Georgia Southern. We kind of lost our focus in the fourth quarter. So we got to be prepared for that. We got to learn from our mistakes, and we got to continue this week and just work on those fundamentals because that's ultimately is what is going to win us this game.
A couple games now have been close battles down to the end. How much do those kind of battle-tested moments, help you guys week to week?
I think this week was kind of different because we were behind, and we've always been in front. We've always started hot. We didn't start hot this week at all, and we battled back and we won the fourth quarter, which I think really helped our team grow, helped us, identify a little bit of our culture. We can come back and we can win those fourth quarter games. We don't have to have such a giant lead and battle. So I think that definitely helped us. But in this league, man, anyone can win on any given day. Like the margin of error in this league is so small, and if you're not on it one day, you're going to get beat. That's how it is.
Anything further for Logan?
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
thanks, Logan. Oh. Coming up next, we got quarterback number 1, Bran Braxton. Questions?
We've had a couple days now to watch the film from last week. What stood out to you? Just about the offense's performance in another big win.
What I would say that stood out to me is just how we battled through adversity. These past couple weeks we've been starting hot. Scoring on our first drive of the game. This week we didn't get that, or should I say last week we didn't get that done. But when plays needed to be made and we needed to win, we found a way to do that. So I would say that's what stood out the most.
From your perspective, when you look at Southern Miss, what are you seeing from them on film? We've been told they're pretty physical, but they're pretty fast. What's your point of view on them?
Yeah, I would definitely say they're fast and physical. I feel like they have good athletes all around the field. Their D-line plays with a high motor, and they got some good players up there. We're going to have to show up and play our best ball, or we're definitely going to be in for a long game.
Bradley, can you speak to a little bit about your confidence on offense? Like Logan said, when you guys had to go get one, you did. You had a drive where you scored in 2 plays. Is the feeling among you guys on offense when you need to go get one, then you're now to that point in your maturity level?
Yeah, I definitely feel like that, but I feel like our defense plays a big part in that. Like when our defense is able to hold them, they give up a long drive, but they hold them to 3, or they get a quick 3, and now I feel like we play complementary football, and our defense, they play a big part in what we're able to do on offense. So.
The video out there of you doing the victory lap, interacting with some fans. How fun are those moments? And how much do you cherish those? As you guys, one home game left.
I mean, I love it. I love our fan base. I came from a school, where the fan base wasn't, as involved as it is here. The fans here at Marshall, they love to see us win, and when we're able to get a win for the fans, it's just a great feeling.
Southern Miss, fast defense, guys that have a lot of versatile ability. Anybody in particular stand out from what you've been able to watch, if anything?
Honestly, just if anybody, I'm not gonna say anybody specific. I really just say their entire defensive line. Especially those interior guys. They play really hard, and they're bigger bodies, but they don't move like they're big. They move very well. They're good on their feet. They have high motors. Like pretty much every week the game's gonna be won in the trenches. Like if we win the trenches, I feel like we give ourselves a great chance to win. So.
Anything further for Bray?
Appreciate y'all.
All right, next coming up, we got running back number 6, Jordan Houston. Don't even know if he's aware of this yet, but he was on the Paul Hornig Award Honor Roll, which was released at noon today. The Paul Hornig Award is given every single year to the most versatile player in college football. Week by week, they do an honor roll. He was on there after having 171 total yards, 80 rushing, 29 receiving, and 62 in the return game. Questions for Jordan?
You got a big opportunity there in the second half to kind of carry the load. You're busted off a big run that helped set up a scoring drive. Just how big were those moments on offense for you guys as a team to come from behind in the fourth quarter and pull one out there?
I would say I was just grateful to be able to step up in that way and help produce for our offense and just help our team give us a chance to win. It was fun out there. When your back's kind of against the wall and you have to find a way, I think that's, really the most fun part.
What's it say about your O-line when of course, AJ goes down and it's up to you and Ethan? But it's almost like a challenge and chip on your shoulder and say, let's go get it and let's go win a game kind of mentality?
Yeah, I mean, our O-line, they've been doing a great job all year. I have so much confidence in my O-line. So, I mean, it's not, whenever I have to go in and maybe take a few more snaps, I mean, I'm more than happy to. I mean, our O-line has been great all year, so.
The description we're getting from Southern Miss is they're physical, they're fast. What are you seeing from them? What their coaches telling you about them? What to watch out for this week?
Yeah, they're fast and physical. They're also really big. They definitely look like they all look the part. Yeah, I mean they're pretty big, physical, and yeah, it's gonna be a fun game.
Grant kind of was talking about the versatility. Is that a role you saw yourself taking on here? Being able to make plays, whether it was, through the air, on the ground, or even in the return game, and just how fun is it to be a part of, special teams like that and be able to impact the game in that way?
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of been, that kind of back. I can catch out the backfield, run it. I've done a little bit of returning in my career, so I mean, just to be able to come here and put it all together, it's been a blast for me. I mean, I've enjoyed every second of it. I'm grateful to this coaching staff and to my teammates for allowing me to, have that role and be able to, just help us win.
Do you see the field differently when you return kicks? Is it different than just taking a handoff out of the backfield?
Yeah, I would say it's a little different. I would say it's moving. Everything's moving, faster. Dudes are sprinting down the field at 20 miles an hour trying to take your head off. So I'd say it definitely is a little different.
Does that help? If it's faster on special teams, does that slow things down?
Maybe. I haven't really thought about it like that, but it's like just two different like situations really.
Anything further for Jordan? Nice work.
Yeah.
All right, next up, you all know, J.J. Roberts, defensive back, still leads the SBC in passes defended per game, 1.13 per game. Also top 15 nationally in that category. Questions for J.J.?
We finally got an interception, and it was on a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, that it doesn't count. So that's just my luck with that.
That play came at a big moment, and the defense, just as a whole stepped up, in some of the biggest moments there on Saturday. Just seems like all year it's been kind of bend, don't break, but maybe even more so now when you're getting down into the final stretch of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's playing complementary football with our offense. Just doing what we need to do to win and play winning football. A win is a win, I mean, regardless of how it looks. So winning football could look differently some games than it would other games, you know what I mean? So.
JJ, when you hit the road this week, it's been a minute since you guys won a road game, but you've been obviously close. Do you look back on what you did wrong in that Georgia Southern finale there and now apply that to Hattiesburg and say you got to go on the road with extra focus?
I think Coach Huff's emphasized it, our lack of intentional focus at the end of that game. We just kind of, I wouldn't say we got comfortable, but they started to, make plays and push the ball, and we weren't able to stop them. So definitely going to have more intentional focus this week going into Southern Miss. And, they have a great team down there. I mean, their record isn't great, but they have some athletes on their team. They got playmakers.
Can you expand on that for me? What do you see from them when you look at them on film? Obviously, the record doesn't tell the true story, but as far as you're concerned, what's going to be the challenge for you this week when you try to go up against those guys?
I think they switched their quarterback recently. I think he's a really good player, really athletic. He's kind of like Braxton in a way, runs the ball, good with his arm. I think that they have really good receivers and really good running backs. I think their whole offense, to be specific, looks really good. When you watch them on film, they don't look like they're 1-7, so it's kind of deceptive. But they definitely have a really good team.
When you look across the secondary, I don't think, in my opinion, anybody's grown more than Jacoby. Coming out and really putting in the work in the film room and digging into that. Just from your perspective, how much has he grown as a player? And because he's risen up in some of the biggest moments, this year.
Yeah, Jacoby's definitely matured a lot since I first got here last year. Last year he's kind of goofing around, and this year he's like completely locked in, and you can tell by the way he's playing. He's playing at a really high level. Even after first couple games, didn't play his best, and then he was able to just come back the next week and just keep piling on days. And I think he's played at a really high level football, especially at the corner position, and he's been great for us.
JJ, with just one loss now in the league, are you all playing? Is each game almost like a little mini playoff game for you guys? Is that sort of your mindset?
Yeah, we got to take it a game at a time, but it's hard not to think about things that could be and should be. But I think it's easier to just take it a game at a time, and every game matters from here on out. Sunbelt is always just all over the place. That's why they call it the Fun Belt. I mean, so much can happen with this league, and I think it's awesome being a part of this.
JJ, for you there on Saturday, part of the the bunch to be honored, recognized. I mean, what's it? What has it meant now? And knowing you only got one there left, so the bulk of these are on the road. And what kind of leadership now do you bring here as on this stretch run?
Yeah, it was definitely a full circle moment for me. Senior night, it was kind of crazy because last year I'm looking at the seniors and I'm just like, that's going to be me next year. And I mean, here we are now, and I think it's just really important that we stay focused and we stay hungry for everything that we set out to get at the beginning of this season. So.
Ask Mike the same question. Sometimes these cross-divisional games can feel a little bit like non-conference when you're preparing for them because it's a team you don't see very often. Does it feel like that? And is it exciting to get to prepare for an opponent that maybe you don't see every year like you do in the East?
I mean, to me it feels like an in-conference game just because so much rides on the back half of this season. But yeah, I could definitely see how it wouldn't feel that way. An unfamiliar opponent, it can be kind of different to prepare for. And I could easily, agree with you on that one because, we don't see them too often. So I just think that we just got to go in there. We got to prepare this week like we have every other week. And like I said, go in there with intentional focus to get the job done.
Just to follow up on that, does that help? Yeah, knowing that, okay, this is a conference game, but we really don't know that much about them. So does that help as far as the focus is concerned because you don't have any preconceived notions about them?
Yeah, I think it could be that way, but also, throughout the week as we pile on more film, I think we discover who they are, and film allows us to get a good grasp of what they're doing and who they are as a team.
Anything further for JJ? All righty. Thanks, JJ.